Witness.
Okay. All right. I'll roll intro and then we can jump in. Ready? Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum and welcome to Underrated Gems with my co host, Radar.
Today we're going mute, y'all. So get your subtitles on.
It'd be 30 minutes of us just sitting here, not saying anything.
Angel, I'm glad we took those summer courses on ASL.
I know some.
You
I don't
do?
know a lot. I don't know how to communicate a ton, but I know some.
Well, there you go. I don't know any. My sister can do it, but I can't.
I know the alphabet and a few basic things like please and thank you. I know how to say beautiful. Excuse me. Like, just like,
Just those
little
things.
like, and I learned most of those on Cocomelon.
So what I'm hearing is you probably couldn't communicate with the main character of this movie.
No. But I think she could probably read lips, and I can too. So
there we go.
we could probably get a few things in, and we could probably figure it out. So in case you haven't figured it out yet, the movie we are discussing today is the 1995 film Mute Witness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Another first watch. I have heard of this one. I've seen the poster forever.
Really?
And I just, for some reason, never pulled the trigger and watched it. But we'll start with where we've been starting, which is why Radar thinks this is an underrated gem.
This has one of the best, like, cat and mouse sequences in any film I have ever watched. And I remember seeing it for the first time. I watched this like 2 years ago for the first time.
Oh,
First time I ever
wow.
heard it. Yeah, it's fairly recent for me in watches, but I watched it in that sequence. I was like, this deserves to be talked about so much more just from this sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why I think it's underrated.
Yeah, the choreography, I would say, is really noteworthy. I feel like there's this weird, like, it's just very intense, that the specific chasing and back and forth. But even, like, I have to say though, because again, totally blind, I didn't know anything about this going in. So it starts out, with this little bitty kind of almost a fake out, if
Yeah.
you're asking me, because I didn't know anything about it. So it starts out with this girl being in this place and somebody comes in and kills somebody that's in the room. I don't know if it's like a roommate or whatever, but and
Right.
then she sees them and then she gets killed. And I was like, I mean, does she survive? This is like the beginning of the movie. And then I realized they are making a horror movie.
They are
And
making a
they
movie.
come out and you see like the film crew and you're like, oh shit. I thought that was really clever. I liked that. And I think that this has a certain level of twist and turns that I thought were really good. Like, I really
Yeah.
liked the story a lot in this. I think the story was insanely strong given, kind of the concept. They sometimes people have really great ideas and then they lack in the execution, but I think this was really good execution wise. I really liked it. I thought that the acting was really good too. And I don't know um if the actress is actually mute.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But they do a very good job of utilizing things like her telephone thing where she puts the telephone down and then she can type
Yeah.
out. That was really cool. I've seen technology like that used in other instances with people who really can't speak. And so I thought that was cool to include that. Um and just sort of putting her in this very vulnerable state. I mean, you can't call for help. You can't like communicate the things that
Right.
you're trying to, especially in a panic state. And of course, no one except her best friend around her knows how to communicate with her. Nobody.
Yeah, no one. And I think that they do a great job of fleshing out, like, the main characters too. Like, the main character herself
Yeah.
has personality. Even though she can't talk, she has a personality.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
can and even, like, the not necessarily shitty, but just nepo baby director guy, like, it's so funny. It's like, brother, you have been shooting in Russia and you don't know a fucking lick of Russian.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it, and so you have these like flavors, and you can feel like these are fully rounded characters, and
they
that's
are.
just really nice for the film.
Yeah, especially because it doesn't, I would say, doesn't take very long to get to the point, right? It's
No.
you start out with the film, and then the next scene is the director and the best friend, which I guess is his girlfriend. It's very weird because I don't, are they related? Or are they dating? I don't really actually.
Oh, I think they're I can't remember. Sorry.
I think they're dating, but it's
Dating.
weird because they don't act like a couple.
No, they
But I
don't.
think
It's
I think when he's, like, cooking for her, he calls her "hun" or something to
yeah.
that effect.
Yes,
Gross.
I yeah,
And,
they are dating. Now I
but
think
they
about it.
don't act like it.
Don't
They
act like
don't,
it.
there's no, and then there's, like, that scene where they even go to dinner with her after the whole ordeal with what she sees, which I know we'll get to, I'm sure, eventually. But where she calls him out, she's like, "You've been around my friend for how long, and you haven't even attempted to learn to speak to her."
Right.
And he's just very dismissive. Yeah, he's very silly. I don't he's a
Yeah.
very goofy Gus. He's very, I don't know. But I just but yeah, so she goes on the set of where they were making this movie, and she sees them kind of what looks like recording basically a sex scene. So she's like awkwardly standing there, not realizing that it's going to
Right.
go to the level that it does, which is that then they restrain this woman and then they murder her while the other guy, this one guy, while the other guy's recording. And so she hides, and then there's a couple of little chase things like that throughout the movie. There's not like,
Yeah.
because after that she's like moving around trying to keep hidden, and then there's this, they're trying to find out because they know somebody was there. They're trying to find her, that, and then obviously she, she falls through the thing. And but it's just very like, I don't know, like, I don't know if believable is the word I'm looking for really, but it just felt very authentic, I guess, like her
Right.
reactions to things and kind of the escalation of the story. But then I have to say, one of the things I love the most about the story was adding the depth of the like ring of people doing this, where they're like
Yeah.
getting paid to do this, to make these smut films, and to like do this, but then the people don't know, or the women don't know that they're gonna be killed. They think they're just making, a
Making a
porno, and then they're like,
porno.
"Oh, okay. Well, actually, I'm gonna be murdered." They don't know that. And so there's this, like, weird Godfather type guy that's, like, in a hat and dark shadows, and he's, like, in the car, and he's like, "Oh," and so that's kinda what happens is he tells him, he's like, "Well, you don't get paid for this job until there's no witnesses."
Right. And I think it's so great too, because obviously that happens, but it
Yeah,
feels like the level of it, it's like it adds to that level of paranoia and cat and mouse in it, because it's like,
yeah,
where does the buck stop? Who is
yes.
not involved in this?
Yeah, because it starts out you thinking these 2 guys are just a bunch of jerks and murderers and creeps, and then you're like, "Oh, like, they're not even the tip of the iceberg. They're just
Yeah.
little rookies basically getting paid to do a job." And they, like, it's very, that part I would say is very unsettling. It's like that part in Martyrs where you realize that there's, like, actually a bunch of houses. You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, it's a whole organization of people." Like, that was kinda what this has. When this guy pulls up, you're like, "What the hell?" You're like, "Oh my god." It's like a, yeah, I thought
Ah.
that, but I thought that it was I didn't, like, again, I went into this totally blind, so I didn't have a lot of expectations. I didn't know what I was gonna watch. But I think that that adds a level to the storytelling that is part of, like you said, why those scenes work so well. Because 'Cause
Yeah.
you're like, "Well, who's involved? How much danger are we talking? Is there anybody that can help her?" That kind of thing.
Right. And like that, and again, the whole first cat and mouse, like, and it lasts like 15 minutes
Yeah.
of the like her running around like where they were filming
In the
in that
the
huge
theater
building.
place or
Yeah, the
whatever it
theater
is, theater
place or
place.
whatever.
I don't know what it's
But like,
called.
yeah, whatever it's called. And they're
That
like
place.
looking for her, and there's all these things that are like keeping her from escaping, but they're like, it's not like unbelievable. Like she drops the key
Yeah.
somewhere, and like one of the doors is locked, so she can't get out that way, that type of deal. And
Yeah.
it culminates with her like climbing up like down an elevator shaft, and
Oh.
like going into that spot where that huge place where they dump the body.
And
Like,
she looks up and it's, like, right there.
yeah, that scene is impeccable.
Yeah, it's great. No, I
Impeccable.
agree.
Yeah,
No, I
so
totally agree.
so good. And I think it's, again, I think what makes it even better is like, if you didn't look at the runtime of this movie, you didn't look at the runtime of this movie, and when people come to the place and like the cops get called there and stuff, and she's trying to explain to them like these two are killers, and then the body is gone when they go to look for it, that adds an element of like, what, who
Yeah.
took the body, and that really adds that tension of,
Yeah.
and that's when you first see it of like, oh shit, those two are definitely not doing it to get
No,
like
for sure.
alone.
Yeah, because the cops get called, nobody's left anywhere. It's like, how
Yeah,
did they have time to get rid of all that evidence? And then the part where he like that big guy turns around and stabs the director guy,
yeah,
I was like, how is this happening right now? Because as the audience, like you don't know that it's going to end up being fake because they're
right,
trying to prove, right, that it was fake, it wasn't real, and they're like, "Oh, well, this was just to show you that it wasn't real." And you're just like, "What the fuck?" And then they're like that whole thing where she's like, "Well, if we watch the film, we can tell if it's real or not." And then they switch them. So the film that they give them is the actual film that they were trying to make
right,
at the beginning of the movie. Um which is just crazy, like the level of organization and all that. And it all happens within like, I don't know, 15 minutes. It's not very long. Like as far
yeah,
as real life time of when she sees the murder, she's running and hiding, she falls and gets hurt. The best friend finds her. They call the police get there. Like all of it happens like boom, boom, boom.
boom, one
And
after the other.
meanwhile, they're like, they're like, girl, you're crazy. There ain't no proof here that nobody been murdered. Like,
One of the most masterful gaslightings.
oh my god. He's like, "Oh," she's like, "Well, maybe," and I love this best friend energy because she's like, "Well, maybe they soaked the sheets in fake blood after they murdered that girl." It's like she's like,
It's
"My friend
great.
is telling the truth, damn it."
Listen to her. Yeah, I love that. She
Yeah.
got her back. I love that. I will
Yeah.
admit it's unfortunate with this, like the best parts of this movie are all in that first half. The second part
Yes.
is not bad by any means, but the
Yeah.
first part is so masterful. Um,
Well, yeah, because
yeah,
they like kind of drop the art after a while. Because there's that one scene where she's in the bathtub and you get the weird sound effect and you get
yeah,
like the zoom in of the water. And there was like that was very arty, I feel like. It was very like very cinematic and very focused on like the moments and the smallness versus the bigness and the sounds. And I thought that part was really, really good
yeah,
because it was very much like and that's when she's going slowly, lower and lower into the tub, and she's like seeing the flashes of the body and the murder as it was happening. And it's just I thought that was about where it wrapped up on that kind of stuff. They didn't really do any of that the rest of the movie because the rest of it is a lot of chasing. A
yeah. A lot
lot
of
of chasing,
chasing, more
a lot of
action
back and
based.
forth. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So I,
and
I
it's
agree. I agree with that. Yeah.
yeah, more action based, and it definitely it takes that turn right when Full Frontal comes in. So it's like the director saw boobies and just lost all his like
Art
directorial prowess.
artistic abilities.
Yeah, it drained out of him. He was
It
like,
was, like, right after that, yeah, for sure. Cause up until then, it had, like, those kind of moments, and that one in particular, I thought was a really good little segment where it was, like, focused on her processing it, right, after the fact, and the sound and the I don't know, like, I just thought all of that was, like, really, really well done. And then
yeah,
after that, it's I like you said, it becomes very action oriented. Because after that, then she's the target, right? Because she was a witness, and then
right.
it's just craziness after that as far as, like, a lot more motion.
Yeah, which again, it's still a great second half of the film. Just
No, yeah,
not,
I don't think it's horrible by any means. It doesn't ruin the film. It's just a hard shift, I think.
yeah, and she is fully nude for a good chunk of time too.
Oh, yeah.
Like kudos to that actress, because it's like I put myself in her shoes. Like, could I'm not very secure in my body. Could I hang dong for 10 minutes straight? Probably not. For ten
That's why
minutes straight.
nobody does that, Radar.
Well, there you go. Well,
Nobody wants that.
she went for it. She didn't
Yeah,
hang
no,
dong, but
I That's a different movie. I yeah, she no, she yeah, that's true. That scene is very drawn. But it is an interesting kind of like midpoint because it's not even the middle of the movie. It's almost the middle of the movie. It's
Almost.
still sort of towards the beginning. It's the first act, right? And then there's the second where they're like where they give you the hard realization like, "Oh shit, this is a lot bigger." Now she's in serious trouble because the guys were like ready to just dismiss it. They're like, "No, nobody believed her." And the guy's like, that's not good enough, right? You gotta like
Yeah.
kill, you gotta get rid of her. And
Figure
so
out.
then it has like that segment where she's running in the trying to get away from him in the apartment that she lives in, and then you've got the friends trying to figure out what's going on, and she's just dragging the boyfriend along or whatever. And
Yeah.
you get the introduction of the is he FBI?
I can't
The cop?
remember what he is.
But he's, like, not just a regular, like, beat cop. He's, like,
Yeah.
something else because he says, like, "Well, if your witness saw what she says she saw, then she could be really pivotal in my own investigation." And
Yeah.
then they watch the movie. I did think this part was funny, where they call to tell them that the movie it sucked, and he's like, "Oh, good news," the director. He's like, "Oh, good news. They said the movie was horrible."
Yeah.
Talking about his movie. The realization after he says it where he's like, "Wait a minute." I
Wait a
thought
minute.
pretty funny. And then after those segments wrap up, then it's that last act where it's going back to the other that they go into that other building, and then there's like all the cars outside, all that. Like it's like broken up into three. I feel like pretty clear
Yeah,
sections.
pretty clear sections. I
Yeah.
a kinda detail to kinda give, like, an insight into that world that I think is nice is when the 2, like, higher up
Hmm.
guys, like, the few guys sit down to watch it, and they're, like, talking back and forth about these snuff films, and, like, one of them's like, "If you've seen more than if you've seen one, you've seen it too many." And he's like, "I'll know if it's a snuff film."
He said something about the look in there. Also, thank you. You said it correctly. I said smut, and that's not correct. It's snuff. I said that, and I knew after I said it, I was like, why didn't that feel right? It's because it was not what I meant at all. I meant
Oops.
snuff, not smut. Smut is acceptable and fine. Snuff is not. That's what I so I apologize to the people who watch this and were like, hey, wait a damn minute. I read that stuff or I
You
write
should
that
put
stuff.
that
Or
on a t-shirt.
smut is acceptable, snuff is not acceptable.
Yeah, they
Well, I was thinking when I watched it, when I said that, I was like, "What's the name of that Slipknot song?" It's not Smut. I couldn't think of what it was. Anyway, I love that song actually. Anyway, so I digress. But yeah, he talks about like the look in the eye or something. He's like,
yeah,
you can tell
you
that
can
it's
tell.
you could tell if it's real or if it's not real. And he's like, it's something. Like PTSD. He's like, it's something you never forget.
Yeah, and it's such a good little insight and just a quick little kind of vignette in
Yeah,
there because you
yeah,
can tell, like, how prevalent this issue is where they are, that he's
yeah.
like, "I've seen it," and you're like, "He's probably seen at least a dozen of these."
Yeah.
So,
I
it's a nice
couldn't
little
do that.
ad.
If
I
that was
like
my
that.
job, I would have to quit.
Good lord, what a terrible job.
I couldn't do it. I know like and I like that character a lot. Actually, he's one of my favorites. I just because of where it goes with him like
Right,
towards the end. But it's yeah, that scene is where they're talking like you said is really interesting because it's a very like deep moment, but it doesn't actually last that long, but it's enough to get you kind of in the tone of like how serious this issue is because we're
right.
not thinking it's that big of a not that someone being murdered isn't a big deal, obviously, but we're not quite there yet, I don't feel as an audience where we're like, yeah, this is this massive issue. And when he says that, you're like, well,
Oh, no. Yeah, it
yeah.
makes it grounds it, and that it makes it very
Yes.
real.
Yes.
Um, and
Yeah.
I want your opinions on the ending of this movie.
um
That is also a fair reaction.
So I think the ending is such a different tone from everything else in the movie. So it was a little
Yes.
confusing to process, I think, but I don't hate it. I like the idea of it not being a straight shooter, so to speak, in terms of like, because she walks outside
Yeah,
and he comes up behind her, and we're watching as the audience going, these people in all the cars are gonna just shoot her like a bunch of times. That's what's gonna happen. She's gonna die. because she's like, it's like in slow motion. Anyway, he shoots her. The cop does, the one we're like, oh, he's our
Yeah.
friend, our buddy. And there's just blood everywhere. And so anyway, so she falls, and we get to see this horrible, like horrible reaction from the best friend because
Yeah.
she's, she's watching it happen from inside the building. And so that happens, and then he's like, the thumbs up basically to the guy in the car, and he's like, cool, copacetic, and he just like leaves.
Pieces out.
Everybody's gone. And so now, like, the best friend and the boyfriend are like now worried about this cop guy, right? Because they're like, oh shit. The best friend jumps this guy and
Best
just,
friend material.
I mean, like, lays into him. I mean, just swings and swings. Then she picks up like a random mannequin leg and like smacks him with it. And anyway, I love that whole segment. And the boyfriend, she's like, kill him, kill him. And he's like,
Oh,
he's like, kind of how he is the whole freaking movie. But
right.
then she goes outside to catch. We get the shot of the main character laying flat down, or flat down, face. Words are hard. Face down, and she's smiling, and
This bitch.
I'm not getting it yet. Okay, I'm thinking, I'm like, is this about to have some like off the wall supernatural something? What is going on? And so then she comes out. The best friend comes out, and she sees her stand up, and I was like, they used all that shit from the movie. And so sure
Yeah.
enough, she had all these fake blood packets on her that she triggered. He had a fake gun. And meanwhile, the best friend could have killed this guy, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
there was,
Definitely could have killed him.
because she had no idea, obviously. And so all of that happens, and that's enough.
That's enough.
But it's
But
not enough.
mm-hmm.
Because then after that, they take that other guy, and they put him in the car, or the cop guy puts the other guy in the car, the bad guy puts him in the car, and he goes to drive off. And the guy in the back seat's eyes are huge. And so our main character is like warning them to get out of the car. So
Yeah.
he jumps out of the car just as it explodes. He has a little fire on his back, nothing crazy. And I'm just thinking, when does it end?
Right. Yeah. It felt like we had 3 endings at the end. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and you can't like get over that feeling of like, okay, because yeah, the first ending is when she dies and the cars leave. The second
Yeah.
ending for me is when you realize she's alive and it was all a ploy, and the guy takes the guy and puts him in the car. You're like, all right, cool, roll credits. And then they're like, no, there's also a bomb in the car and you should get out of the car. And then he jumps out of the it was a lot.
Yeah. It's a little too noisy.
It's very chaotic ending because I feel like we had enough action. I don't feel like it's
Yeah.
lacking in that department. Like you said, it's got the big cat and mouse chase at the beginning, and then there's a couple of those types of scenes, kind of scattered throughout as well. And so there's no lacking in the kind of anxiety of those types of scenarios played out in film. But then they were just like, yeah, well, we need some more
How about?
stuff.
Yeah, they're
It's
like,
like
how
when
about
you're
more?
like, you think you've added, like, you've probably added enough salt, but you're like, well, just in case. Then it's too much. And it's like, what
Right.
the hell? It's too much for the senses. But I don't hate the ending. I do think I could have handled I liked the idea that he fake shot her. I thought that was kind of cool because as a
Yeah.
viewer, I was like, I wasn't getting that yet. I was like, oh, what the hell? She just went through all this shit and now she's dead. Like,
You're right.
you know. And so I was good with that, and then realizing that like, oh, we almost shot you, but you're not actually a bad guy. I thought that was kind of funny. But the car thing I think was just a little too much overboard.
Bridge too far. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't ruin the movie, I would say, by
Doesn't
any stretch, but it does feel like a lot for no reason.
yeah. I was gonna say, and this film is pretty darn good.
It
Like,
is.
yeah, but yeah, that unfortunately, and it's like one of the last things you see is that the bomb in the car. So it's kind of like one of the last images you have.
Yes. Yeah.
You're like, come on, guys.
Yeah, because what, like, after he gets up, you see that he's okay, then it, like, zooms in on her, I think, and then it stops, and that's the end of the
Yeah.
movie. Yeah. So, yeah, there's not anything really after that, I don't
Yeah.
think.
It's kind of like a weird ending too, to like just zoom in on here and then call it good. Cause you've gotten all these little mini endings and then it just
Yeah.
abruptly ends. And you're like, okay, I guess you do you film. But
Yeah. Like, I think a better wrap up probably would have just been him putting the bad guy in the car, driving off. Her friend putting her arm around her and go, "Let's go home," or "Let's go get you somewhere else." Like, I don't know,
Right.
something, and then they leave. Like,
Perfect.
and that's the end, right? I think that's probably a little cleaner. Um, but like I do agree with you that this is an underrated gem. I have not seen a lot of people talk about this. I have seen the poster around periodically, probably because it was streaming at some point, not since you gave me the list, but it was streaming at some point. Um, but I am surprised because I do think it has a lot of really, really cool storytelling elements. I love the making a movie kind of side. I love the police being involved so early and not
Right.
believing. And I love that it went even deeper and was like, oh no, it's like a whole ass ring of people. And I thought all of that stuff was really, really cool and was definitely deeper, I feel like, than other movies that are similar as far as like the slashery kind of whatever you would categorize this as. Um,
Right.
yeah.
Thriller? I don't know.
Thriller. Yeah, it really is probably more of a thriller. I don't think it's a cut like a cookie cutter slasher. It's definitely I tend to I do this naturally. I tend to put people horror under the category of slasher, but that's not really the case in this one. I would say
Right.
yeah, thriller is probably better. You're right.
Which thriller to me, that's just horror, you know. That is just
Yeah.
horror.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm inclined to agree. Because once again everybody at home, horror does not have to be scary to be horror. um but no, I really liked this one.
Yeah. I'm doing
First
good.
watch too. So,
Hot
you
dang.
did good. Next one is our finale.
Finale, the last one. And it's in my opinion, best for last. But that's just me.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the Era of Blood, but I will say
That's fair.
I did love this one, which I think I told you I probably would. I kind of had a feeling.
Right.
But so this one, the one we're talking about next week, also is not streamed. But I would say it's worth the rent, which is what I did. I rented it to watch it. But we're going to be talking the 1999 film um
Ravenous.
Ravenous.
Let me just say that after telling you for years, recommending it for years, and having you finally watch it, I am very ravenous to discuss it.
Yes. Yeah, you have been because we've known each other for a little while now, and this has come up so many times in conversation. And so you saw the list and you were like, she has to watch it if I put
Like,
it on here. And so which I would have I did want to get to it, but this is definitely motivates me to obviously watch it sooner so we could talk about it. Um but yeah, so next week we'll be talking Ravenous, which has Rumpelstiltskin in it.
God dang it.
I don't know his real name. He played Rumpelstiltskin slash Mr. Gold in Once Upon a Time.
She's not wrong, but I don't like it.
And he was also in 28 Weeks Later.
And you'll know who he is immediately if you see his face. So
Yes, and he was a piece of shit in that one too.
great guy in real life, though.
Yes, I've seen a ton of interviews with him. I really like his energy. So we'll be talking Ravenous next week. If you haven't seen the other episodes, there's playlists. There's 10 in total, so this is episode 9. And then we'll wrap up the series next week. But as always, Radar's links where you can find them will be in the description of this episode. Yeah, thank you guys, everybody, for hanging out with us in this week of Underrated Gems.
Smut, not snuff.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
Got her.